Green Lanterns number 35. Tim Seeley writing and Carlo Barberi on art. So we're continuing. We've got, what's his face?
Bolfunga.
Bolthunga, there you go. We got him. And he shows up at Jesse's work. We teased him at the end of the last issue. And he actually shows up in Jessica's work while she's trying to convince her boss that she's ready to go into the front, out to the, waiting tables. She's ready to do that. And she's like, hey, I'm sick of filling these vegan chicken wings in the morning. And Bolthunga comes in and he's got the megaphone and he's shouting out, Green Lantern, show yourself, and yada yada yada. And she actually flies him through the wall, and I thought, yeah, that's a good way to keep your job. Put a big hole in the wall.
She's really open about it as well. She's like, you hear Bolthunga shout, she goes, yeah, sorry, that's for me. I'm going to deal with this guy. I
love how she looks really embarrassed up until that moment, and she puts on this fake little smile. Hey, sorry, just one moment. It's almost like that, like a scene in a movie where they're trying to like have a conversation with someone who doesn't know what's going on in the rest of the house, and the person has to like say, "Oh, just 1 second," and then they go behind the door and then they're dealing with some absurd situation.
Yeah.
They don't want the person to know about. That's what it felt like. It felt like that fake smile to try and get
Definitely.
that done. There was actually a lot packed into this issue in terms of plot.
Well, it's quite dense.
So Jess is fighting Balthunga, and then she puts in a call to Simon. Simon's actually up in his new home, in the Big Lantern space. He's had a one night stand with a Night Pilot, and she's like, yeah, I mean, we had fun and all, but I'm not ready to date someone who's basically squatting at my age. And he's like, oh, that's cold. All right, but we see what Simon's like. So he shows up to help. We're still building the plot on Ungara, because the traitor, the one who set up the previous disaster, he actually murders someone and actually plants evidence to blame it on the Molites, which that's who they just saved. They just saved them from the planet. So there's a plaguing on there, which I like that they're building these characters. I like how it
segued into it,
because Simon's like, oh, maybe I should give that cute Angara girl a call. The one who saved.
I thought it was a really nice segue, and then we go over to it. I was like, oh, okay, that really worked.
It really worked, and I think it's nice that we know we're going back there, so it's not just a random thing either. It's like, yeah, you probably will see her again, because they're going to end up going back at some point for all this stuff going down. Really cool. I like that Simon is like, oh, this guy has a problem with Guy Gardner. You can't be all that bad.
Yeah, I mean, as a Guy fan, he's still not wrong.
Also, apparently Jessica thinks it's Wabbit season because she's
got a hunting rifle.
She's got a hunting rifle.
That was cracking me up. Balfunga's just a giant rabbit to her.
Now, all of it's good because they end up basically running into what is his ship. They think it's a cabin in the woods, but it's like a cloaking system, and it's actually his ship. And they get a hold of him, and he actually explains what he's doing there. Basically, he's all talk. He's always been all talk, and he is like, okay, so I got put in prison by the Lanterns, and it got around that I had been kind of lying about my exploits, so people started giving me a hard time. And eventually, this mysterious woman came to see him, Singularity Jane.
Good name.
So that's a very good name. And she offers to get him out of prison, but to do so, he has to agree to her one kind of like
small favor, a small payment. I think
that's how she puts it. And he doesn't know what it is till he gets out. But it turns out he's been hired as a hitman. He has to kill someone, and if he doesn't kill them within a week, then he'll be killed instead. So that's actually basically we find out that the person, and we hear him talking off panel. And then we turn the page and we find out it's actually his father, Boff, the Unkillable. It doesn't look
also a great title.
Also a good title. He doesn't look very unkillable to me. He looks quite frail these days.
He does. He's got a walking stick. I mean, it's a pretty cool walking stick. It's a skull, but it's still a walking stick.
Yeah, it's a skull with like a fancy spine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, so he's came here to Earth to talk to the Green Lanterns mainly because he wants help. Well, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But they put in a call to John, and John's like, yeah, don't believe a word he says, he's full of shit.
Complete bullshit, I think he calls it.
He does actually, it's censored out, but yeah, that's what he says, complete bullshit. He's like, no, that. He's under arrest, put him there. And I love that just the subtle touch of this Jane character. She shows up on Earth, and we see her talking to a truck driver, asking for like a, Well, she's not even asking for directions. It kind of looks like that sort of scene, but she's just kind of like, hey, can I get a kiss? You know, and it's like, oh, sure. And the other guy just sort of goes along with it. And then the last page, you just see that he's lying there. Not only is he dead, he's basically been sucked of life. He's a bag of skin.
Yeah.
And she's walking off wearing his hat. That's the gist of this issue. So there was a lot in there to kind of unpack, because we have, but it's all very well connected. So it's all Berthunga
It flows
focused
really well.
Yeah, and we have the one segue to Angara, but we know that's kind of still going on, and I like that that's still building in the background. I think Seeley's doing a really good job here of like setting up this some supporting cast elements that are kind of new to his run, and I actually kind of like, I like the characters from Angara, and I like this job plot, even though it seems like it's maybe doomed for this. Like I don't feel like she's going to keep her job that long.
No.
But like I like what it's doing with it, and I can't.
It's a the keeping the job thing. It's a classic superhero trope that I don't think we see very often anymore. So it's kind of refreshing to see it again played now.
Yeah. And I can't emphasize enough how much I was laughing during the opening scene.
Yeah, it's cracking me
She's
up.
sitting there talking to the boss, and you can just hear, "I am Berthunga, and I am here to meet the Green Lantern. Show yourself." And she's trying to ignore it, and he won't go away. He's got the megaphone. It was really cracking me up.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I enjoyed the art quite a bit as well. Actually, I thought it suited the slightly, I don't want to say goofy, but Berthunga's such a over the top, big hulking character.
Do you know what it is at the minute? This book feels like. Mm-hmm. It feels like a sitcom.
A little bit, actually, yeah.
Like it's kind of going, hey, yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. We're doing the job thing, It's like, oh, yeah, played for laughs.
And that is completely okay.
I agree. It's a nice change of tone to differentiate it, because obviously the stuff that was before was mostly quite serious in terms of being this, space cop stuff. Because it had its moments interspersed that were, the personal lives stuff, but it was mostly quite, serious in its storylines. Whereas this, Bolfunga, is kind of a joke.
That's kind of his point, yeah. He is.
Yeah.
And, towards the end of the book, when his demeanour's changed and he's kind of embarrassed telling them all this stuff, and Simon and Jess are just kind of looking annoyed that they're having to put up with them. It's doing a good job of getting their kind of mood across about him.
Mm.
And it's got the right tone for his kind of expressions. He's such a big goofball once he actually... he's a big goofball even when he's trying to be threatening. But once he sort of lets that... He
becomes kind of likeable at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, but once that goes away, he's kind of this big guy who's just like really kind of embarrassed.
Very abashed.
Admitting that he's not actually that great a guy. He's not this great fighter who's killed all these people. He's not won all these battles. He's just kind of...
Yeah, I really like the panel where he stood next to his dad, because it's like, like we said, Boff's much smaller, he's very frail looking, but he still looks like he's really holding himself in. He feels small. Yeah,
he looks, again, he just kind of looks ashamed, like his father's just belittling him, and he feels put down by it. You really see that. So no, they are really strong in that sense. So no, that's a solid. I think this has been. I was really enjoying Humphreys toward later in his run anyway, but Seeley, I think, has been hit the ground running since he started with this.